Right, so there's only really one game to talk about this weekend. Man United, great side, didn't you think? If Pogba plays like that all season, I just don't see anyone beating Man United. What do you think, Mark? What do you think?
I was going to make the joke everyone's made that we beat Leeds 6-2 last season and 5-1 this year, so we've gone backwards. And fixture to fixture, we're not doing as well as we did last year. But it's a bit of a weird one because is it just Leeds are just done a Leeds where they're just open? I don't know if any of you listened to Gary Neville's analysis after, and he's like, Leeds are the perfect opponent for United because they're open. They try to pass through them. They're not really going to bully United where United have weaknesses. So I was like, I don't want to be too down on it, but I'm like, it's a great start. And
just say it. Leeds are frauds. I've been saying it for years. Come on now, we know they're frauds.
They're not frauds. They're a good team. They're just as you were saying, they are designed for Man United, for a counter-attacking team with talent, with good passing. You can just pass through them. That's just how Leeds play. The weekend going into the season, I was like, I think the top four that all three of us predicted in slightly different orders there'll be a gap between them and the rest. And this weekend, I kind of saw that, minus obviously City losing, but they didn't start last season too well, and then they won like 27 in a row, so they've always got that in them. But yeah, I think United fan, we started the season optimistic. We've like won our game 5-1. Even the goal we conceded, you just say well done. Like, it's not you can't really blame anyone on United for that goal, unless you're going to tell me De Gea should have got it, Chris. Never should be beaten at your far post. But no, it was perfect start, really. I see what you're doing here, Chris. You're just trying to find any excuse not to talk about the mighty Arsenal.
Who?
Exactly. How the mighty have fallen.
I don't know even. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not really into football. I'm more into rugby. Can't you see this top? I only know a couple of teams. I just saw a headline saying Man United won, but that's about it.
Do you know what? I actually, it's really sad seeing Arsenal. Like, it was funny at first. And last year was quite funny seeing them fail, but it's just really sad. Like, I feel bad for their fans. That it's got so bad now that I actually feel bad for them. I used to just hate them and be like, good you're losing. But now I'm like, it's just really, must be really demoralising to see a team just dying, literally doing nothing.
I do feel sorry. Like, the thing is, Chris, you recommended what's it called? The Sky Sports, where they met all the fan TVs.
The overlap, live fan thing, yeah.
And all what that showed me was a lot of these channels have fans which actually do think through the game. But I imagine and
then they bring friggin' Ty on.
But post-match, emotion gets over, so all these channels become a bit clickbaity. But put them in a room, they actually understand football. But Arsenal fan TV is like, as you say, Ty, it was the one fan channel that still looked emotional, even in a room trying to be black and white about good and bad of the season, and it was still emotional. And I was like, that is like PTSD of Arsenal fans now because of how long this is going on. And you
can't label entire fan base on that absolute lunatic who they got. I mean, the guy's defending what Arsenal's doing right now and saying, why is it that there's so much criticism? They deserve the criticism. I mean, look, it is sad. It's a frustration. You can have your team lose and not play well, and it's just, again, it's the manner in which they're doing it. They're not making enough changes, and they seem to be kind of doubling down on what makes them worse. I don't really know what's going on, because a lot of it sounds like it's in the backroom stuff. I mean, you hear rumours of Edu going on holiday during the transfer window, which is absolutely disgusting. And, you see Tammy Abraham go to Rome, and partly why Arsenal can't get them is because they can't get rid of players. Like Roy Keane was saying, it's all about recruitment. But one of the troubles Arsenal seem to have is they can't offload players. I mean, we had the saga with Ozil, couldn't get rid of him for love nor money. Xhaka seems to have stayed, although the problem is that they look at.
He's just signed another contract today.
And that's what I'm saying. They seem to re-sign these players that most fans will say isn't worth it. They seem to like some of these players that aren't really up to it and commit to them even more. I mean, they were kind of they've been doing that since Arsene Wenger was there. But I guess Arsene Wenger was such a good manager. He kind of, I don't know if he could plaster over the gaps, but it's just Brentford looked like a decent side, but opening game of the season, I mean, come on, like.
Have you seen enough to write Ben White off?
Oh, write him off. I didn't write him in. I mean, come on. He made 2 mistakes for the goals. He was terrible. He was terrible. Come on, Dan. Look, Dan, I'm not being emotional tie here. Come on, Dan. You know, I said it wasn't a good signing. You know he had a bad game.
He didn't have a good game. He's a good player. He's got some of the top stats when it comes to playing out the back. Most defenders do these days, but he is good at that. He's just not very tall. Is the truth. He's like 5'10".
Yeah, he's not good in the air. He's slow. He's not good at tackling. I only watched the highlights and I was like, oh, I thought Ben White might have been a good signing, especially because I'll admit it's because he got called up to England. Arsenal paid 50 million. I was like, people must see something in him. And I straight away was like, no, this is worrying.
Well, I think he's been a good player for a few years. There's a reason he got in the England squad, and there's a reason Arsenal paid 50 million. He was very good at Brighton. He was brilliant at Leeds before that. But, you know, he had a terrible game, and they targeted him because that is his one weakness. He's a bit shorter than everyone else, and he isn't great in the air, which is fine if you've got a rock-hard centre-back next to you who is really good in the air, or you play in a back three, which is what Ben White's done for the last 3 years. So it reminds me of when Spurs bought Matt Doherty and tried to play him in a back four and wondered why he couldn't play football, because he only plays in a back five. Ben White doesn't play in a back two. He plays in a back three.
Well, so I can envision that Ben White would be a luxury player if we actually had a good defence. I'm not going to heap it all on him because, again, Leno is the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. I'm just going to go out and say it now. I'm not overreacting. This isn't an overreaction yet. This is accurate. I mean, he is bad. He is bad, isn't he? He just is no good. And he commands no respect in the box. And then he's in front of him, he's got centre-backs that probably aren't up to it. And, you know, look, Ben White, young player, first game, made a couple mistakes. The only reason we're highlighting him is because I had already spoken about him not being a good signing. But it's just woeful. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I'm going to try and do you remember, Mark, we used to say, and you kind of still on it with fantasy football, where you don't like playing it because you invest too much in it and it gets upset. I think for me, I'm going to do that with this football season in terms of Arsenal. The hardest thing is that everyone knows when you're a fan of a team, all of your friends, all your mates know you're a fan of that team. So everyone's just giving me shit. I mean, Brentford fans are giving me shit. You know what I mean? It's insane. What am I supposed to do? I can't do anything. So I'm just going to, there's no way for me to disassociate myself with the club for now. So I'm just going to try and take it easy. This will be my last rant, hopefully. And, you know, anytime you want to bring up Arsenal later on in the season, just relax because I'm not going to respond. I'm probably not even going to talk.
So next Super Sunday after the Arsenal-Chelsea game, we won't talk. And then the week after the Super Sunday, the Arsenal-City game, we better not talk.
Strangely, Arsenal will probably put in a half-decent performance against Chelsea. They'll lose heroically, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Arsenal don't do that. Arsenal don't lose heroically. They either win poorly or they lose horrifically. There's no in between. There's nothing else.
And then Arteta will come out and say, "I'm really sorry. It's my fault. I take full."
Yeah, fuck you. It's your fault. It's everyone's fault. You take the blame. Every single person outside of Tierney can take the blame. Every single one.
Saka's all right. He didn't play most of the game. He can't be blamed.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the starters, really. You know, subs is what it is. I mean,
it's embarrassing. I heard today when they said Jack has got a new contract, and I just thought to myself, all summer we've been talking about how Jack wanted to go to Roma, Arsenal wanted rid of him, Mourinho wanted him. We were laughing at the fact that Mourinho was going to buy another over-the-hill, useless midfielder for a load of money to add to his team, and then Arsenal go and give him a long-term contract.
Well, can they just not announce it? Can they not do it and not announce it? Don't tell anyone. We'll just be there 2 years later on, being like, why is he still here? And then you just hear, he signed a contract a couple of years ago, and just not bring everyone down by it. Just don't announce it.
In all seriousness, how long has Arteta got? Short, not long, right?
This is the problem, Dan. Who knows? He's got until the end of his contract. They want him there. They want him there to do it. They were talking about Mike Ashley on that overlap, about him being the kind of owner that is there to take profit from his business. You know, there's a few owners out there that buy these clubs and are happy to kind of pump their money in because for whatever their reasons are. I see Kroenke or whatever the owners are like as similar as Mike Ashley. I think they're there just to kind of put in the bare minimum and try and get out as much as they want. And, you know, it's just hard as a fan if that is the case. But I can't understand what else their vision is, particularly with Arteta.
Well, that's 2 years out of Europe. This year, probably out of Europe as well on that first showing. You can't run a Premiership football club of Arsenal stature and size with those wages and the kind of money they're paying and not be in Europe for 3 or 4 years. It's catastrophic for them. They can't be making any money. So this is a terrible decision. I don't know what they're doing.
They're just idiots then, I guess.
I do really feel, well, I mean, Kroenke classic, most times when he goes to watch the game, he has to ask which colour Arsenal are playing in. So,
let's turn it to a bright side because I was actually, if it wasn't against Arsenal, I'm actually genuinely happy for Brentford. You could tell what it meant to them. The crowd was unreal. They played really, really well. I mean, if they play like that against, you know, most sides in the Premier League, they'll get results. Not, you know, if we put Arsenal as a side now, that's the bottom half of the team. They can compete with anyone if they play like that.
What is it with Arsenal and teams in red and white that have long throw?
Oh, geez. Well, we don't like long balls anyway, but any version of it. And if they start doing that as well, but good for Brentford. I think I put them to go down this season. That game definitely didn't make me think they were going to, especially when you see teams like Crystal Palace being a bit woeful. It's hard to kind of picture it. I'll still stick with it for the time being. But no, they were great. They were great. Sorry, Dan, what's going on with your face? I
don't know, my head's sort of disappearing. I don't know what's going on with my computer today. Sorry.
It's just not getting enough use. Scare that garden, get a job.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to connect to the Wi-Fi anymore properly.
Thanos has just clicked his fingers. Danny to fix
Well, where do you think Brentford could? What's the maximum potential a team like Brentford could do in the season?
I don't think top half, but I think just because there's so many good teams, like I think like 13th, 14th for me is if they get that, that'd be like brilliant.
Yeah, I think they'll do well. I mean, we said it. Me and Mark said it last week. I don't think they'll get relegated. I think they play good football. We were glad they went up. Analytics run company, and it's proven it's working.
City Spurs.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
I did. This is one where I did like this season. I've said about removing my emotions from games. So like I know in our prediction league, I picked City. I know fantasy, I had nothing riding on. I had one Tottenham player who's deep in my bench. I was like, but I still wanted Tottenham to win, and that was one game I enjoyed. And I'm a bit shocked because I've been rating Nuno for years, and I don't know what happened, but at half time I was like, oh yeah, Nuno's their manager. Like, why have I wrote Tottenham off to be like useless? And because if he turned a Traore into a championship sort of reject in the Spain squad, and you're like, he if you look at Tottenham's wingers, they're the exact type of players Nuno could turn into decent players. I still think Tottenham finished sort of 7th in the league, just purely because as good as that 11 is, without Kane, you see the subs, it starts to get a bit woeful. But so I think over the season it will tell. But yeah,
well, I think for them, if and when they actually lose Kane, I think for them it's just a case of how are we going to perform without Kane? He's such a big part of their team. I don't think they're going to realistically say we're going to be top 4, top 5, top 6. I think most Spurs will be generally happy with finishing, not close to relegation, but finishing anyway. But it's the way in which they're going to do it. Are they going to just roll over and be like, we've lost Kane, we're just a terrible team all of a sudden? Or are we going to fight? And the thing is, like, I've got an overreaction late, but like, Son is a very good player.
I mean, it all depends how they spend the 160 odd million or whatever they get for Kane. If he stays this year, which I actually think he does, I actually think he'll stay. He's been announced in the squad for Thursday for the Conference League qualifier. So he's playing on Thursday, and Nuno's come out and said he wasn't match fit, which might be true, might not be, probably not. But it's Daniel Levy. He's not going to give him up. I think he stays this season. I think he'll get his head down. He'll have another good season, score his 30 goals or do whatever, and they'll go next year. But it gives them time to go and spend the 100 and whatever million they're going to get. If they can spend it wisely, it was only 6 months ago, or even the first couple of games of the Euros, we were all saying, Christ, the Spurs need to get rid of Kane quick because he looks gone. For 100 million, I'll be getting rid of that guy quickly. Like, Kane is obviously a special talent. He's obviously a brilliant striker, but with 100 and something million quid, you'd hope you can go and get a few people, fill that squad out a bit, bolster it, and still, compete for the top four, which is effectively what they were doing before anyway. So
I'll be interested to see what Kane will be like if he was to move, because like you said, we've been kind of down on him a little bit. And is that because of Spurs? Is that because of Man City? Or is it because, he hasn't got the legs he used to? The one thing I like about Nuno is that he, at least from this first game, he looks to be playing players that he clearly has seen in training and think that he deserves playing, like, what's his name, Tangangan over someone like Aurier. Aurier has been is not the best right back in the world. And if he's just going to pick... Sorry?
He hasn't been named in their squad, so I think he's off. But Tanganga was brilliant. I mean, he was their best player yesterday.
Well, he had the last 2 seasons he's kind of had bit parts, and every time he's played, he's been a pretty good player. I don't know how good he can be, but he's no scrub. Like, he's a Premier League player, just depending on what they have. But yeah, Nuno's a great coach. They've still got a lot of quality left in that side. It just depends on kind of how he puts them out there. I don't know. They had Davis at centre back, but not Davis. Sanchez.
Sanchez, yeah.
Davison Sanchez. That's what I was looking for. Maybe there is still a bit of a gap here with their centre backs, but Nuno's a good coach. I'm sure he'll make.
They got that Romero, don't they? Where's he planning on playing him?
I think he came on the second half, didn't he?
Yeah, he'll be a centre back.
He came on quite late, yeah.
Yeah, he's from the Atalanta. I mean, you don't pay 45 million if you're not going to play him.
Well, can we go to our overreactions and underreactions? I think it's a good starting point for me, at least. Unless you want to just kind of go through any other games, otherwise.
No, that's fine.
I am not going to overreact to Man City, particularly. We even said Man City and Pep, he maybe tries to outthink the game, as he always does, with no striker. I'm not really going to overreact with them not having a striker. I'm not going to overreact to them losing this game because they still do it one way or the other. Like, if they get Kane, which it doesn't seem likely, they're going to have Jesus. They'll do enough to win the league. It's like something like that will be good to win the league because the way he plays is very formulaic and there's a recipe to it. Probably not built for things like cups and stuff, but Premier League-wise, I think he'll be fine. So I will definitely not overreact to them not having a striker. And if they don't get one, what are we going to say? They're not going to be in the top 4? Highly doubt it.
Well, I actually think, all this talk of Kane, I think Ferran Torres actually played really well. I think as a false 9, he's quite a good player. And he's young. I think he will have a very good season, Ferran Torres. So really, I think he'll score a lot of goals.
Is he actually a striker, though? Because the only...
He's more of a Mane type, like Mane.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I find with Ferran Torres is he doesn't move like a centre forward. So when you got certain balls that kind of go across, he's not really running towards goal, and he won't get enough chances doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen City twice now. This one and Charity Shield, and it's like their formation is the issue, I find. Like, I don't...
Same formation as always, though.
But they've got Grealish and Sterling on the left. And I don't understand how that works. And I think Grealish is going to take some time to get used to City. They're talking about him where he might change his position. And I'm like, because you can see Grealish has definitely picks the ball up, wants to beat someone. And still probably has to be reminded you're not having to win the game on your own. And I don't know if any of you saw Grealish got through and had a shot. And
on the left-hand side.
Yeah. And kept apologising. And then on the replay, Gary Neville was like, there was no one even there to pass to. I don't know why he's apologising.
I think the player who was there on the inside was like, what are you doing? Even though he weren't in a position.
And I think that's his fear at the minute. Is like... Oh God, I need to change my game. Like I'm at City, I should square that, not shoot, even though it was a shooting chance. But they just look a bit all over the place. Like
the same as last season. Half their players only just came back last week. Like they've got a ton of Brazilians and a ton of people that were in the Copa, the Olympics, all sorts. They'll be fine. The first 8 games of last season they were useless. They lost 5-2 to Leicester. They got battered somewhere else. They'll be fine.
Yeah. I think it'll be the last week. Well, it should be the last we see of Mendy and Ake, because
Mendy was so
them
bad.
to us. They're so bad.
I mean, it's such a shame. Like I remember when City got Ake, I thought that was a bad signing. He wasn't a bad centre back, but he looked bad yesterday. Like he's not good.
He made the mistake in the Charity Shield as well, and I thought, okay, they're going to bring Stones and Zinchenko back, but it's almost like Guardiola's like, all right, here's the last bit of rope. Go out there and make my mind up, like, because as soon as Zinchenko and De Bruyne come on, it was like they did look a lot better in that last bit.
Isn't it weird though that you're talking about Man City spending all these billions with all these players, and they're playing what is an attacking midfielder, Zinchenko, effectively, because he is what he plays for his country.
They're number 11.
A left back. I mean, what is going on? Why?
He's always played left back for City, though. I mean, he's a left back.
Buy a left back. They've got the worst left back of the top 7 or 8 teams. Go and buy a left back. You're Man City.
But when Mendy first came in, he looked.
He had one season which was amazing, but he had a lot of injuries, and I just don't think he ever got himself fit. I know that he never got himself back to where he was. He doesn't look fit. He doesn't run.
Well, I don't know about that, Dan, because he also makes bad decisions. It doesn't look to me like it's a physical issue. It looks like he just hasn't really got the brain for it. It's like remember years ago when Bellerin just had that one good season. You're like, wow, he's crossing the ball, he's running. All of a sudden, it's like they don't know how to play football. They're just quick. They don't know how to pass anymore. They don't know when to do it, and I think Mendy's kind of a victim to that as well. But Zinchenko plays left back for City. He always has done. He plays up front.
He does. But
his country is terrible.
You look at the top 6, 7, 8, even 10 sides, because I put Arsenal in there with Kieran Tierney. Name all of their left backs, and I guarantee Zinchenko is probably the worst of the lot. But how weird is that for a team that wants to win everything, that is winning everything? Why not just go and get a top? There's so many good left backs. Go and get one.
This is serviceable, I guess. Can I give you an overreaction?
Please, no. What that wasn't?
No, that was an underreaction. I'm not going to react to poorly to what happened to City, especially with no striker. Overreaction. I think Son is as good as Mo Salah. He might be even close to top 5 in the Premier League. I think he's just so good. And I think maybe with Kane being there, he's grown into this superstar, and maybe without Kane, he's going to have the opportunity to have this team for himself. If Kane goes. That goal he took, it was like the one chance that really, really had. I can't really remember them having many opportunities unless someone can correct me. But that was like a half chance, if that. And he just put it away so well. And he's just the best. I just think he's so good. And that's my overreaction. Is that an overreaction?
I don't think that's unfair.
Yeah, I think you underrate Salah.
Oh no, I think Son's quality. I think Son might be top 5, top 6 player in the league. So I mean, Salah's up there as well with a number of others.
Salah just broke the record. He scored the first day of the season 5 years in a row, or 5 seasons in a row, or something. Yeah,
no, Salah's great. Salah, I'm not putting Salah down. I'm bringing Son up.
No, because the reason that's an overreaction is because Salah enters like the argument of one of the best players the league's had. Yeah.
Yeah, Son is that. That's my overreaction for the weekend. Son is that.
For an Arsenal fan, that is big.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good player. Has anyone else got any overreaction on the reactions?
Well, Man United are going to win the league. So, but I mean, I said that last week. So
that's an underreaction.
Yeah.
But my overreaction, and it's purely because someone told me that it looks like Lacazette and Aubameyang could be gone, is that Arsenal are in a relegation battle this season.
Jesus Christ!
And
I'm not even going to comment because I'm not part of it.
They might turn it round, but if they lose,
turn it around. It's one game.
If they lose Lacazette and Aubameyang, I was looking at that starting 11 against Brentford. That is in the 5. That's one of the worst starting 11s like in the league. But the fact is, it sounds like
by Ben White. What do you expect?
But it sounds like Aubameyang and Lacazette is bloody because they've fallen out with Arteta, and it's nothing to do with fitness. And you're like, how many? This is quite a few players now that Arteta's fallen out with, and unless Arsenal get someone in before deadline day. So the one thing Arsenal do have versus the other teams in the relegation battle is they are still a big team. So they could bring someone in, like if they do lose those two. But if they go this season without them two, they are in serious trouble. Like,
it is going to be funny. Like, don't forget, come the international break at the end of September or in beginning of September, Arsenal will have played Brentford, Chelsea, and City. Probably have lost all three. Probably be on 0 points at the bottom of the league. The absolute chaos. And then there's a 3-week break or 2.5-week break. The absolute chaos of that period. Of all the Arsenal fans, all the media, it is going to be mad.
Yeah, well, one slight overreaction I had, and you've actually made it a pretty accurate reaction, is that I'm going to find a new team.
yeah.
How's Hertha Berlin going for you?
Hey?
How's Hertha Berlin going for you?
They're not the best, I must admit. They win and lose. Accrington Stanley had a great win, so that was their first win of the season. So I might have to invest in that. Yeah, just sad, really.
Yeah, bad times.
Tough. Why don't we do a different podcast? What other sports are we into?
Is it me, or I feel like there's been a lot of talk of the reffing over this weekend. Like, admittedly, Bruno's goal, second goal, I think, which would have been offside last year. When you see it in your, like, we're so accustomed now to seeing if they're in line, they're going to be told they're offside. That I saw the replay and was like, well, he's obviously off because he's actually on, but he's off. The fact that he wasn't, I was like, okay. And they didn't even show us. I was like,
okay, Man United would be the first team to benefit, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah. Twitter exploded after that.
The thing that I think people are I think there's an overreaction in general across the media and everyone this weekend on the reffing. Because all of a sudden...
And how good it was.
One or two decisions that everyone's saying it's the greatest refereeing they've ever seen. VAR's changed everything. It's all perfect. And I'm like, hold on. First of all, there was 2 or 3 really bad decisions this weekend that were not overturned, that they've just overlooked for the narrative. But also, it's 1 week. Come next week, when they screw up again, it will be all over the front page.
Well, that's what I had as one of my. I'm going to underreact to is the VAR and refereeing, because obviously they made a big hoo-ha about the changes. You see, Carragher sort of talked to the referees about some of the changes that they're making, thicker lines. They're not going to show the decisions on camera and all of this business. Fine, great, fine. But every year the referees bring in some new rules. They try and practice it for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden it's just back to normal, if not worse.
Remember when Mike Dean used to give about 12 penalties in the first 2 weeks?
I remember that one. I remember the one with Sterling and City, wasn't it? And it was a jump in the air, and it was a penalty for nothing, basically. And
because they would always come up with some sort of new rule, and then after 2 or 3 games, about that's ridiculous, stop it now, and then they would just stop. So yeah, I agree with you.
See, I think I've said it on the podcast when they first brought in VAR. They shouldn't show the lines or the decision. They just tell you it's offside or onside and show you the still image and flash it up offside. People see the image, they're like, oh, they've shown us the evidence. Don't need to know how close it is. But when you started seeing that crappy little mouse go across the screen, and then there was that famous United game where Mata was onside and the squiggly lines, and then it was like, we don't need to see this software. Like, just tell us it's on or off. Like, be quick, just tell us the decisions and we'll go with it. Like,
I bet you that was probably more the Premier League or whoever, or the TV partners, just saying this will add to the tension and this will.
I say it's more to do with fan groups. I think fan groups have said we need to, as fans, have a right to see the decision.
But there is something to that. I think you should be able to just make a better decision.
Yeah, well, I think saying to the fans, we're checking for an offside. TV's given offside. We don't need to see.
Do you think if they show a still after it, do you think that's okay?
I think that's enough. They do that everywhere.
Just show the still. Yeah, just
that's what they do in Europe.
Like, look,
just don't show them. Just don't show them with their shaky, jakey hand with the mouse.
But that's it. When they draw the line up and they're like, "Oh, I've gone too far. Do it again."
it's like when you try and type out a password and you go, "I've got it wrong." Backspace. Do it again. You're like, backspace. It's like no one wants to see you do all these mistakes, man.
Yeah, it happens in horse racing all the time. Like they don't show you, but it could take ages, and sometimes you're waiting a while to find out who's actually won the race.
Yeah,
and then
you're right. And then they just show you the photo finish, don't they, with the lines?
Yeah. Don't need to know. It's like, oh,
I could do without all of it, to be honest. But that's a whole nother argument.
I get the feeling that you're not so into football this year, Chris.
I'm a rugby guy. Look at this shirt. I told you, big rugby fan. I am. Do you know what I mean? Big rugby fan.
Should we talk about the Lions? No, it's too sore still.
Yeah, fucking. What a boring series that was. But yeah, there you go. I've got one overreaction to the football kits. They're horrible this season, all of them. How many horrible kits are there?
I have to say, Man United sponsor is really it's so disappointing.
It's horrible.
I know. I just need to get used to it, but man, that is just such a.
Their kit is dreadful. Them in Liverpool, I thought, in particular, was disgusting.
The only thing I enjoyed about Man United's releasing their kit, obviously, Team Viewer, is
because you like seeing men.
No, it's the sponsor on the front. Is because there was then a load of memes and jokes about Donny van der Beek. About how there was they bought a new sponsor to describe him because Team Viewer because he sits on the bench.
That's harsh. That's brutal.
It is brutal. I wonder if he'll ever get a game of football.
It's weird when a team buys a player and they got a bit of hype behind them and they just never play. Like what is it? What happens on that plane journey here where they just don't play him?
£40 million as well, not nothing. £40 million.
But he was from a good side that was like a burgeoning side, great team. Was it Champions League semis or finals? Was it?
Yeah. Scored against Tottenham in the famous
and then
comeback. Is
it like they go to training and like, do you know what? This is it's so weird. I'll never understand it.
I just don't think I think Solskjaer, to be fair to Solskjaer, I think what he did is he went, I've got a winning team. My team is winning constantly. I've got Pogba, I've got Fernandes, I've got McTominay and Matip. People, like, where am I going to put him? I think fair play to Ollie, who said, I'm not being forced to put someone in my team just because we went out and spent 40 million for him. If he doesn't fit my team, then he's not playing and he's got to work harder to show that he's better than those three. And he's not better than those three at the moment. And look, he got second place last year, which is the best they've done in 9 years. So, maybe he's onto something. And that's just unfortunate. United have two people for basically every position. We've got an amazing squad now.
Look at that Varane getting released today, all confirmed today.
Well, they put him out on the pitch on Saturday.
That was a stroke of genius as well. Just to get the fans really rolled up. You know these days.
Paul Lindelof just sitting. He's had the game of his life. It's half time.
He had a great game. He had such a good game.
The entire stadium erupted when his replacement walked out. It's like,
It's weird how much, even on TV, having fans at the stadium just makes such a difference. Like, you don't realize. You thought, it was a decent adjustment to having like the fake fan noise versus no fan noise, but having actual fans there singing songs, hopefully it will stay good for a bit. But
the song singing is like easily replicated. It's the sarcasm and the stick. That's what the fakeness could never do. Although didn't Gilmore, like, weren't there some homophobic chants to him?
I thought that was weird.
Is he gay?
Has her come out as gay? The title was aimed at him.
It's because he's a Chelsea player, and the term for Chelsea player.
Don't say it.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't even know.
It's a tough, isn't it? Tough.
No.
Like posh.
No, they call Chelsea players. What do they call them?
I actually don't know.
Butcher this. Right. The thing is, I don't even know how offensive it is. I'm not even sure if I should say it. How offensive is the word?
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it. I'm the one that's offensive.
If you don't buy a house, you
rent a house.
Yeah.
So rent boy.
Yeah.
Oh, you can say that. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah.
So that's what they were chanting at him, which is now deemed quite.
Is that a Chelsea? Is that a thing? Yeah. Chelsea players? I didn't know that.
Yeah, rival fans called Chelsea players that.
I've never. How funny is that? I've never heard that before in my life.
No, I've not heard that.
I think it's a bit of an old one. I just used to know, like, from memes online, they'd have like Chelsea's starting lineup, and it'd be like they are all fucking like rent boys as the starting lineup, and then found out later.
I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, Google it. Check it out. Any more overreaction, underreaction?
I think we've reacted enough.
Good.
Yeah.
Results league. Do you remember your teams? Mark hasn't done the spreadsheet yet.
Who did I pick?
You picked Villa to beat Watford 3-1.
I thought I did. Can I actually, on that, how good did Ismail Assar, did you watch the highlights of the Watford game?
I watched the
Yeah.
highlights.
Yeah, class.
I
He was
forgot
class.
how good he was in the Premiership 2 years ago, and then I look back.
Was he the one that played for Fulham? Sorry, was that?
No. He played for Watford a few years ago.
Yeah.
Then when they got he was their best player. They got relegated. He was obviously brilliant in the Championship. He was their top goal scorer last year, and he's come back this year and he looked unbelievable. Like I'm thinking he needs to get straight in the fantasy football team.
It's an interesting one with Watford because you're like, even with Brentford, how sustainable is this stuff here? Like, it was a crazy result.
As many as they win, probably more. But that doesn't mean he's not going to score goals and be a good player. I'm actually really surprised they kept hold of him. Really surprised. When they went down, I think he's better than the Championship level.
Norwich looked to be the one that's probably going to go down. To this, they didn't even look that great. But
Norwich and Palace kind of went to form, didn't they?
Yeah, Vieira, tough times.
I think, I was working this out. Vieira in his first 8 games has the top 6 plus 2 others as his first 8 games. So he could easily do worse than
Philip Crockery, or whatever his name was. It Philip Crockery?
Frank de Boer.
Frank de Boer.
Yeah, I was like, even if he does actually a half decent job, he could have 0 points after like 8 games.
Is Southampton done? Is Hasenhüttl and Southampton done?
I don't think they're done, but I think when you lose your 2 best players, your 3 best players, which is Ings and Vestergaard, if they'd lost Ward-Prowse, they'd basically be relegated. But they kept hold of him at least for now. But I'm shocked that they got rid of Ings and Vestergaard because those 2, when they were out the team last year, they couldn't win a game.
Well, they've always been a bit of a feeder club anyway.
I know, but and you look at their team now. They've bought that young kid from Chelsea, Livramento, or whatever his name is. They've got Salisu, who was 19, came in last year. They've got a really young squad. Obviously, they've lost Ryan Bertrand as well. It's a bit of a weird turnaround. I think if they stay up this year, they'll be happy because they're in a bit of a transition period. I don't think Hasenhüttl will be particularly happy with what's going on.
No, I like him as a manager as well, so it's a bit of a weird one there. But
I think he was holding out for the Leipzig job, or not Leipzig job, one of the German jobs, and it went very quickly. So I think he's hanging around basically until one of the big German jobs are available again.
Well, I just wish I paid more attention because if they look bad, they could very well go down. So yeah, right. So you picked, Dan, Villa to beat Watford 3-1. That definitely didn't happen. 3-2 to Watford. Mark picked Man City to beat Spurs. Fool. 2-1.
So at least I got the Man City pick.
I was going to say, at least you have to pick Man City to win again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've got that Arsenal pick out of the way. Arsenal to beat Brentford 3-1. I mean, we all knew they were going to lose as well. So, we all knew.
Not a good start from us, is it?
I feel bad for them Arsenal fans because it must be so bad for them. I mean, I wouldn't know. But it must be horrible for them.
So we all picked losing team. Considering like 7 of the favourites won this weekend, we picked 3.
But you said what? 7 out of the 10 home games won. So we all picked away ones. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, last year away worked really well because there were no fans, so away teams did really well. I guess we have to go back to hedging our bets against.
I'm putting my lack of my poor pod, my poor start to fantasy, poor start to this, to the fact that I didn't really read too much into this season till about 3 days before it started.
Yeah,
there was so much sport and everything else on that.
You have to be the only person in the entire Great Britain who didn't have either Salah or Bruno in their team.
I mean, that's just
in your team.
Yeah, you can't use any excuse for that, man.
What were you thinking?
It's Sancho on that Sancho hype. You would have thought it was Danny's team. That's ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, I even said on the pod the reason he wasn't in my team last week is because I didn't think because he basically wasn't going to start the first game. He'd already said. So why you put him in as captain? I don't know.
Yes, I don't. To be honest, I'm really not that bothered this year. I wasn't even that bothered.
I'm glad you're not bothered. So why'd you bring it up?
I'm saying everything. I'm just like this season. I was like, I'm a bit slow to get into it because of the amount of other stuff that was going on. Like I was walking by and I saw Chelsea v Villarreal on. I was like, is that tonight? Last week? It sort of came out of nowhere. That Super Cup.
You're walking by. Where were you walking by?
Down, I go for a walk after work and I walk by a pub and I was like, oh, Chelsea are playing tonight. That's how disengaged pre-season I was. And then this weekend, fully back into it. So
I think just let's ease into the season. Let's just chat shit. So have you got your teams for next week?
Yes.
Mark, sort out that you both have it ready. Wow. Oh my goodness. I was just about to filibuster and then you guys are like, yes.
Well, it's easy because we can pick everyone at the moment. So
Yeah.
it's easy.
Wow, God, you take it. I'm taken aback there. I don't know what to do. Mark, you go first then.
All right, I'm gonna do Newcastle away to Aston Villa, and I'm doing Newcastle to beat Villa, and I'm gonna go 2-0.
Newcastle away to Villa.
I think that's a good shout. Villa look a bit of a mess at the moment. They seem to have changed their formation and it is not working for them.
Be interesting. Go on, Danny. You go.
I am. Can you guess what I'm going to do?
I think you're gonna.
Let me look at. Hold on. Let me look at the teams. You're going to do
Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's just too easy. It's too obvious.
You're going to pick Chelsea, aren't you?
Of course, I'm going to pick Chelsea. I'm going to pick Chelsea to win at the Emirates, and I'm going to pick Chelsea to win 3-0 at the Emirates.
Fucking. All right, Chris. You're not involved.
Lukaku to get a couple.
This will be
Lukaku and Ben White. I mean, I just feel sorry for Ben White.
Lukaku will have an absolute fucking field day.
It's got no chance.
Oh, Ben White, poor Ben White, just should have stayed in Brighton.
Yeah,
what have you done to yourself, young man?
This is the coming of age game for him. This is
maybe.
He'll win around the entire fan base in one game. That's what I would be telling him.
Yeah, If you keep Lukaku quiet, you'll win around everyone. Absolutely.
Yeah. Who was that Arsenal defender that was terrible? And then Costa used to always.
What, Segan?
Was it Gabriel? Well, who was it that Costa used to always fight with and then got him sent off one time and just basically...
Yeah, Gabriel,
Gabriel,
Paulinho. Or Paulista, or Gabriel Paulista?
Yeah.
I was like, but Arsenal fans got behind him for one game a season. They're like, this guy's useless, but at least he'll give Costa a kick.
Yeah.
So I love what we just went through with like the home and away fixtures, and we're like, all right, let's all pick away ones, because I've also gone away. I'm going for the mighty Brentford, the Bees. The mighty Brentford to beat Chelsea away.
To beat Palace away.
Beat Palace away from home.
Good fixture.
2-0.
Because what's going to happen? Brentford will lose like 10 in a row around Christmas, and we'll be like, why didn't we pick them earlier in the season?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, do you know, genuinely, I was tempted to pick them last week just because Arsenal was so woeful, but I just couldn't do it because at the time I was a fan. I just can't. Just now we're looking at them. Brentford look decent. Chelsea don't. Palace does not.
Can I just make a point? I didn't realise that Man United, they beat Leeds 6-2 last year and obviously played them and beat them 5-1 this week, sorry. Yeah. Next week they've got Southampton. They beat 9-1 last year in this fixture. So
there we go. 8-0.
Yeah.
Get them in your sides.
This could be dangerous territory.
Get them in your side. Pogs, it's only 7.6 now. Come on now.
I know he's already gone up, hasn't he?
Yeah, already. I've already done my transfer anyway, so I don't know if I can spend 4 points to bring him in. I might do. We'll see. Right. That will leave us with front three, back four, I believe, unless we've got anything football related to talk about.
I'm good.
No. I'll go first, as we do. I'm going to get serious for a sec. I couldn't avoid it. Couldn't do it. Tried my best. Looked at other things. Had to do it. In my back four this week is Afghanistan.
What? Come on.
I have to. Come on. It's big. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Why? What's wrong with that, Dan?
No, nothing wrong with it. Go on. What's your point?
I can't even make a joke of it because it's not a joke. I think the reason it's... I just started rereading this book on geopolitics, and I got to the section about Afghanistan and Pakistan, and then this happened. We don't have to talk about it in any real detail. I just think it's just worrying because the speed in which this is happening, and we just have to be mindful that going forward, something big might happen either in America or in our country or somewhere else. Hopefully, it doesn't, touch wood. Yeah. But it's genuinely worrying me more than anything. Maybe because I've been in the news and just kind of checking it out. But be careful. Hopefully, it will be all right. I mean,
it's just it's just a horrible situation. I was on one newspaper's website today, and they had videos of people holding onto planes and falling off the plane, like the US planes trying to get people back home. Yeah, and people literally clinging onto the side of the planes and falling off while the plane's midair. It's just horrible.
And that's it. And if there's anyone that, a politician or someone tries to play it down in terms of the influence that the Taliban's going to have in Afghanistan, you see the people that are desperate to get out and understanding what it means for them.
Oh, they've taken it over now.
Yeah, but it's the speed, isn't it? It's because they were just kind of, by all accounts, they were holding up a corrupt government that was just ready and waiting for as soon as the US left.
But there's a reason.
Open doors. There you go.
I don't know loads, but there's going to be a reason why it took so long to leave, and it was a case of eventually the US have said we're going to just pull them out, and yeah,
I think because I would imagine it's because they knew what would happen, and it was like, if not now, then when? And then because even before Biden was there, Trump was talking about getting them out. So I think it was just overall America's plan to do it eventually, but they didn't seem to either recognize or realize the pace in which this would happen. And Danny, no.
Our thoughts go out to all those people.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I'm hopefully. I don't know. Tough one. In my front three this week is fry-ups. That has nothing to do with Taliban. A cafe called the Doncaster Cafe launches the UK's biggest full English with 150 items and a whopping 17,000 calories. It weighs 20 pounds, so half of Danny's weight. It includes 15 Lincolnshire sausages, 15 rashers of bacon, 15 hash browns, 15 eggs, 15 slices of black pudding, 15 slices of toast. I don't know how they did 15 portions of baked beans, just one big slop of baked beans.
Yeah.
15 portions of tin tomatoes, please. What? Horrible. I can't stand on the front. 15 portions of mushrooms, yeah. So it's the new biggest challenge. It costs £50 if you don't do it. It's called the Terminator Armageddon. And
where's that Doncaster, you said?
It is near Doncaster, yeah.
I know where we're going away next time then.
Yeah.
I know.
Danny's PT's just recommended it.
Danny will eat it all in one sitting and he'll lose like £5. He's like, how's that even possible?
Got good metabolism, what can I say?
Is that, yeah? How big are your poos? Do you do like massive poos? I feel like Danny's like, remember that Simpsons episode where Bart goes to the fun fair and he's got to scoop the tiniest donkey's stables, and it's just this mountain of poo, and they're like, yeah, he just poos an awful lot and just gets rid of anything. That's like Danny.
I don't even know how to answer that. I don't even know if that's a question. I don't even know how to answer that.
It's not a question, it's a point of fact.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Danny does big shits.
Yeah, I need lots of toilets in this house.
Oh god, yeah. No, you just need one big one, the garden.
Actually, just go straight through. When I eat something, it just falls straight out.
Just go, yeah, no biting, just whole, innit? Yeah. You got peanuts and all sorts, broccoli.
That's gross.
Whole eggs.
Lovely.
There you go.
Shall I go?
Yeah, go on, you go.
So as you know, I have this long list of front three, back fours from the last 3 months worth of stuff. So I know that Chris, you asked me to bring up some of these, so I thought I would start the list. And I was going through it. There's actually quite some interesting ones on there.
Can I just say the next? I appreciate you doing it this time. Next time, seamless. You're right in it. Don't even talk about it. Just do it.
Fine. Okay. I do actually have a front three for this week though that I do want to mention because it is.
Put that on the back of the list. Back of the list. You go back of the queue, and yeah, hopefully somewhere around February you'll get to it.
Anyway, so my back four this week is Hungary and UEFA. Because they disallowed Germany from wearing their rainbow armband, the bastards, because they changed the law in Hungary just before that game in the Euros, when which meant that I can't remember the story now, but I think something in schools they started to teach that they took away any teachings about being gay, or they basically had this homophobic syllabus, and so all of the footballers, and there was obviously games out in Hungary. Said we stand for equality, and they wanted to wear a rainbow armband, and UEFA said, that's a political symbol, you can't do that. But Hungary, yeah, feel free to do what you like. So I can't remember the whole story, but that was one of the ones that was in my back four at the time. In my front three, so I don't know if you guys saw this week, but it is fantastic. Earlier we were talking about Varane being like
this week. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll come back to the other ones, but this is really good. This is really funny. You have to see it. So you know how Varane was shown to the United fans this week? Like over the recent years, particularly with COVID, all of the sort of announcements of new contracts or new players, there's been a big hype. Remember Sanchez playing the piano and all sorts, right? So you know how I love Gerard Moreno from Villarreal?
Yeah,
Gerard Moreno signed a new contract with Villarreal this week, and he has the best, I say that loosely because it's the worst, but the funniest announcement video I've ever seen in my life. It's basically the masked singer or the masked dancer. He is dressed up in, I don't even know what animal. It's some kind of possum or, I don't know, some weird grey owl type thing. He's dancing and singing and then reveals himself to be Gerard Moreno. And that is his announcement that he signed his new contract, which it's getting ridiculous. But that just, I saw it and I was laughing so much. So I thought I had to write that down and mention.
All right, back to the bit, Dan. Come on, don't ruin it.
Okay. In my front three was Gareth Southgate for finally picking Jack Grealish for the England squad.
Is that it?
Well, yeah. Up until then, he hadn't been picked.
Well, can't you just digress and say, because he's very good? Will you just, all right, fair enough, just leave it. I'm just watching this video of Gerard Moreno on stage. Is that some kind of like Spanish?
I don't know.
Thing?
What animal is he?
It's like a Teletubby, but like he's like from Teletubbies. What is it?
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's really, really weird.
That's so strange.
It's so strange. And it says, I don't know what, it must be something Spanish in his back, rocket or something.
Yeah, it must be some kind of character. I'm saying Gerard Moreno, he's no good.
He's fantastic, but what is he doing? Wearing that stupid helmet that he can't get off. Have you seen him trying to take it off?
Yeah. I think he looked like he was pretending like he couldn't come off. But
I mean, just ridiculous. So,
all right, Dan, you need to work on this bit. All right, we'll talk about it this week.
Okay.
He's not getting it, is he, Mark?
No.
Mark, go on, finish us off.
All right. We'll start off with my front three. So it's streaming service DAZN. So they're looking at getting into football now, and they're talking about they want to have. I think they do it in America a bit more, but they want to have over here where you're watching football and you have the option to bet. It'll have fantasy football linked to the football, and it'll be a much more tied up experience. And
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that.
The only reason I don't like it is because streaming is behind.
Yeah.
And betting is usually quite far.
Yeah.
Like it's usually quicker than even like what you see on screen. And
it's a good point. How are they going to do that? It's not going to be possible then.
So they'll have to fix that. But one way they're looking to buy BT Sport. So that is a major way of getting into the market, because streaming's all great, but I prefer the channel. Like if something was on BT Sport and Amazon Prime, for example, I'm opting BT Sport to watch it. I'm not. The streaming's great if there's no other option, but having your like satellite box or Virgin box, whatever, it's just a much better experience than streaming. So
I know I'm grateful for Danny for letting me use his login details, but it's really frustrating being in a messaging group watching the same football match as you guys, because I have to just put my phone in another room because it's just Danny non-stop being like, Danny only talks when there's a goal. It's the only time he ever mentions anything. Like, oh, fuck's sake. He's like the guy outside screaming, yes.
Sometimes when something happens, you try to be quick, just because either one, you don't want the next thing to happen. So if someone just misses a chance, you try and send it before the goal kick.
Yeah.
You try and be quick. But yeah, it is funny because you do want to be like one of the first to say something, like just even if it's a great goal, just send it. It's like, but yeah, I'd be interested to see how they do it. Because
I mean, I do it on purpose, Chris, because I know you're watching my stream. That's why I do it.
Plum.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if that comes about. Unfortunately, DAZN, they've come into the market at the minute for boxing, so they're in the UK, but they've taken all the matchroom boxing, and boxing is just in a terrible state at the minute. Sky's losing their good fights. DAZN have like one a month, and their selling point is the fact that it's only £2. But yeah, so I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see how it goes. But
One can dream.
Back for this week is I don't know if any of you saw this poor victim. This mum of 3 has claimed she's been left shocked, shaken, and crying due to.
I don't even know what this is, but I don't even know what this is.
Yeah,
you know where he's going with it, though.
Yeah, this poor lady's shocked, shaken, crying. Her mum of 3 because of the ferocious speed at which Aldi checkouts beat their items. So she couldn't keep up with the items that was coming down the checkout. So she's had quite a traumatic experience. And they actually got a statement from the Aldi worker who said she's a liar. I wasn't going that far. It was,
where did you? Was you at Aldi when this happened? Where did you find this?
This is trending. You can.
Did she complain on Twitter or something, saying this is ridiculous how quick it's going?
Of course she complained. Where else do you go to complain about that kind of shit?
Do you know what? Do you know it's funny as well? She probably was at the self-service.
She had it. Well, let's see what her quote.
It was her son who was just putting it through.
I was shocked how someone in customer care could disregard my struggle with no empathy or care whatsoever. This is unacceptable. Shopping with 3 children can be challenging enough without suffering panic, anxiety at the checkouts and leaving the store in tears. So,
has it got a picture of her?
No. I've never liked the checkouts. It's always a rush. The area is so small. I've never had an experience as horrid as this one. So
tell her to go online.
Next time you're queuing at a supermarket and you think, bloody hell, this is going slow, just think they're just looking after the well-being of the shopper in front of you. So
that's funny. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's my back 4.
Lovely. Be careful at Aldi, people. Go to Morrison's if you want to slow down. Them fucking slow fucks. Oh, they're terrible. Hate
they
Morrison's.
Don't care though.
They do not care, boy. They're kissing their teeth as they're scanning, boy. Like,
what Morrison's is this?
Yeah, Morrison's, boy, down Holloway Road. They don't give a fuck.
The one I have in Stamford Hill, like their checkouts are like from 12 till 4, and then every other time is self checkout. It's just like you see the person like it's like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and they're like, oh no more after this person. I'm good. Just it's not a good experience.
Right, so very good for a decent weekend of football for you guys. Hopefully next week it'll be a bit more positive. Not likely, but I'll be watching the rugby. I don't know about you guys, but work on that front 3 back 4, Dan. We'll get this right. We'll bring it in, and we'll see you next week. Lovely. Have a good week, boys, and chat to you later. Bye.
Bye.